We're cooking catfish, a fish that some love and others are like, not so much. But of course, with any wild game, there are a couple ingredients that can make it absolutely delicious: bacon or cream cheese. Today we're using the latter, cream cheese, and we're gonna make a catfish wonton, or kind of like a rangoon. So it's a really great appetizer. It's not that hard to assemble, and I can promise you, when people eat this, they're gonna say, hey, I actually like this catfish. Let's get started. We're gonna get started with the filling. We've got some cream cheese that we've been letting sit at room temperature to soften it up. To the cream cheese, we're gonna add a little grilled corn, which I just got done grilling, a bit of serrano pepper, some garlic, and a little bit of green onion, both the white and the green part, and then a little salt and pepper to taste. Depending on how many wontons you wanna make, but I'll probably use a little more than half, so probably about 5 or 6 ounces here. All right, now we're gonna start by cutting up the green onions, the serrano, and a little bit of garlic. So grab these and we'll get started. Let's start with the green onions, and I'm just gonna start with a couple onions here. Cut the ends off. All right, so let's slice up these green onions. I want these really finely sliced green onion here. All right, so now I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I would say that's maybe a tablespoon or so. Onions I'm going to throw in there, maybe a tablespoon and a half. We'll call that good. And now I'm going to grab a serrano pepper. I'm going to cut the top off. We're not going to use a lot of this. I like serranos. They've got a nice amount of heat. I think they've got some good flavor. Cut it in half. I'm going to remove the seeds. Cut this into fine strips. Okay. Let's cut these up nice and small. Everything with this filling you want to be pretty small. Same thing here. We're going to probably go with that, maybe about a tablespoon. Put the peppers in there. And then we're going to take about a medium-sized clove of garlic here. Take it out of there, cut off the end. We're going to mince that. We're going to chop it finely. This would also be a great opportunity for a garlic press. Very finely chopped, so put that medium clove. So now we've got all those ingredients in there. I'm going to start mixing this cream cheese together, and then once I've got a good mix in these ingredients, I'll add the corn and season with salt and pepper. The reason I'm doing this first, I don't want to smash all the corn with the cream cheeses. All right, now we're going to season this with a little salt and pepper. There we go. One last mix. Cream cheese filling is all we're making, so if you wanted to add any of your favorite ingredients, go for it. So now I'll just add the corn, and I'm going to just kind of fold that in. So this is grilled sweet corn. I'll maybe use, I guess that'd probably be 3 or 4 tablespoons. Not a ton, but this corn just gives it this awesome little sweet pop. All right, this is mixed, ready to go. I'm going to set this off to the side, and we are going to get the catfish ready. All right, now we're gonna get going on the catfish. The biggest deal here is you wanna make these pieces small enough to fit inside a wonton. A little bit of fish goes a long way. I'm gonna maybe try to trim a little bit of this mud line here as well. Dark piece of meat, that's what's gonna give fish their kind of fishy flavor. See, running right along here. A good chunk there. I'll chunk this up. This is probably a 2-pound channel cat, something like that, not a really big fish. Fiddler is good eating size, so cube here, cube here. These pieces are too big. It's going to be really hard to wrap your wonton, so you don't want them big. So this is a great thing to do if you are on one of those trips where you don't have a lot of fish. You're planning on eating fish for dinner, and you've got a lot of people to feed. A little bit goes a long ways in this case. So I'm going to use a Cajun seasoning. You can buy this at the store. Just rough seasoning method here. All right, it's looking good. One last mix. All right, now we're going to assemble the wontons, what might be the most intimidating part, but it's really not that hard. The secret is just getting everything sealed. So I have just some store-bought wonton wrappers here. We've got our cream cheese mix, We've got the catfish that's been seasoned. We're simply going to lay out a wonton wrapper. I'm going to use a couple teaspoons here. You could use a melon ball or something like that. We're going to add a chunk of catfish here in the center. And so the big thing here is we just want to be sure that we're not overfilling the wonton. If we can't close it, it's going to end up exploding in your oil. So now we just need a little bit of water. I'm just going to put some in a ramekin here. And this is what's going to seal it. So we just take our finger then, a little bit of water. We'll run that water around the edges. Some people like to use egg wash. I find that water works just fine for this application. So now we're just going to seal them up. You could fold these in half. You could make a half circle. I know there's round ones. I'm gonna go try my best here. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but try to make like that classic Rangoon. Push all the air out of here. That's the big deal. No air, no leaks. It seems like it might take a long time, but you can do quite a few of these in short order, especially if you've got a couple hands working here. You can go through a pile of them. So I'll make as many as we've got ingredients for, and then we're going to set these aside and start on our sauce. Boom. All right, we've got about a dozen. We'll start with that. I'm going to put these in the fridge and I'm going to get going on our sauce. You can make any sauce you want for this. Traditional wontons are like a sweet and sour sauce or a chili sauce, but I love avocados, so I'm going to make a little avocado sauce I just think is great on everything. So this is what we need. We're going to use 1 avocado, the juice of a lime, a little bit of cilantro. I'm going to use about half that was left of this serrano pepper, some Greek yogurt, and a little bit of salt, pepper to taste, and then a little honey for sweetness. All right, we're going to start with our ripe avocado here, and we're using a food processor for this. You can mash it up, but a food processor is awesome to have. So if you've got electricity, I recommend using a food processor. So we're just going to open up our avocado here. We'll get the pit out. I'm just going to take our avocado, we'll slice this baby up. Now I'm going to head over to my cutting board and cut up a little bit of the cilantro and my lime in half and my little serrano pepper. All right, so I'm just going to use a little bit of cilantro, not a lot. So we're just going to do a rough chop on it, and then we're going to send this over to the food processor. And we're just going to do about half of this serrano again. Again, this is rough chop because it's going to the food processor. So I'm cutting it in quarters, so it'll be easier to squeeze in there. Lime, of course, adds great flavor. That citrus is great in there, but also it'll help that avocado from browning. So you could put this in the fridge in a sealed container and it's not going to turn brown right away. So now to this, I'm going to add a little bit of Greek yogurt. I'm just going to use my judgment here, just roll a little bit. All right, now we are ready to powderize this stuff. So here we go. We're just gonna mix it until it's nice and thin. All right, that looks good. We'll put this in a container and then we're gonna start frying wontons. Wontons are made, sauce is done. Now we just have to fry them. We're going to use a shallow pan, cook it in here. You could use a deep fryer, of course, and if you want, you can use an air fryer for this. It also gives them a nice crunch to it, but we're going old school. We're frying them in oil. I feel like catfish fried in oil is kind of one of those things that's a must. So we're going to add quite a bit of oil to the pan so we can get them pretty much all the way submerged. I'm going to add a whole bottle, whatever this is, size, and we'll heat this up to 350. 349.7, good enough. We're gonna start frying some wontons. So we don't want to crowd the pan, but we're just gonna add a handful in here. I think we got a good seal on everything. That's a win. I'm gonna flip them upside down so we get crunchy, golden. And you don't have to cook these that long. I'd say maybe 3 to 5 minutes. The catfish cooks quick, and it's really just getting a nice crust on these things is all you're looking for. So just watch your oil. You don't want it to all of a sudden spike to 450 degrees. And that 350 gives you the crunch that you're looking for. Okay, let's pull these babies out. Shake off the oil. Set them on here, and I think I will also finish this with a little bit of finishing salt. All right, there you have it, catfish wontons. This is a pretty easy deal to do, though it looks complicated. It's delicious, it can feed a lot of people, it looks fancy, and it's one of those things where if it's something not everybody likes, add a little cream cheese, and the crowd is gonna love it.